Everyone, welcome to Save News TV. We thank you so much for allowing us into your homes. We are just so wonderfully blessed to have the opportunity to be here with you today. And we have a lot of news. So let's just get into it. We're going to start with a couple of articles first before we get to our main topic of the Supreme Court. Before we do that, I'm going to read the Copyright Act of 1976 for our viewing audience and our listening audience. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, teaching, education, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All righty then. That is absolutely wonderful. We got that copy. We got our housekeeping out of the way. So first, what we're going to is the article from Relevant magazine, and it clearly states that this is very, very interesting. That the scientists are trying to shut down a mysterious gateway to hell in Turkmenisian. Gateway to hell. They're trying to shut it down, but I don't think it's going to happen. Even if they close that physical one in Turkmesia, I mean, it will always be there. There will always be a gateway to hell. But okay, let's read it. For nearly 50 years, a so called gateway to hell has been left wide open in Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan. Now, Turkmenistan President Gurbanguly, okay, I'm not going to even try his last name, is telling the nation's scientists that it's time to close it up. What could go wrong? The perpetually burning pit is a little bit of a mystery. At some point in the 1970s, a 230-foot wide sinkhole opened up about 150 miles outside of the Turkmenistan capital, and it's been on fire ever since, giving rise to the nickname Gates of Hell. Past attempts to close this gateway up have met with failure, but Turkmenistan's scientific community is ready to try again, and we say it's high time. Closing this portal up might not fix every other problem in the world, but well, it couldn't hurt. All right, then. Then to close the gateway to hell up, and let's see how that goes. Also in the news, we have we reported on the president not extending student loans. Well, look at God. Look at God. Okay. CNN report more than 400,000 student loan borrowers will get some debt relief from Navient. Now, through Navient, get on their website immediately and start trying to find out if you qualify for this. Okay, more than 400,000 student loan borrowers will get some debt relief from Navient, according to the $1.85 billion settlement agreement announced Thursday. The deal will settle litigation brought by several state attorney generals that claim that Navient one of the largest student loan servicing companies in the U.S., engaged in unfair practices and made predatory loans to students who were unlikely to be able to pay them back. Navient denied violating any law in the settlement. Okay, so once again, if you are possibly a recipient of a student loan and you had yours through Navient, what you need to do is go to the student loan portal and sign in if you have a login, or you can create an account and find out exactly what else is available for you, because they are going to relieve some of this student loan debt. Okay. Next, because we're going pretty fast, we got quite a bit of news here today, and we'll be going pretty fast to get through them to get to our main topic. And it is a doozy, and I'm sure some of you might have heard this. All right, so next we have coming from CBS News, and that is that Army. Oh, well, stop. Okay, I call this the gift that keeps on giving. So, when I say that, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. The Army has relieved 6 active duty commanders for refusing the gift that keeps on giving, inoculation. Let's read. The Army has relieved 6 active duty commanders, including 2 battalion commanders, and issued 2,994 general officers written reprimands to soldiers who refused to keep the gift that keeps on giving, inoculation. So we see here that there is repercussions here, but as we get on with our stories for today, it is fully just totally, I'm not going to say. All right, let's go to the next. Let's go. I'm just give the stories, and I'm not going to give commentary on a lot of this, because if I do, I'll go, But our next article also comes from CBS News, and a congressman compared the gift that keeps on giving, inoculation cards, to Nazi era passes. He said it. Okay, so Ohio Representative Warren Davidson is being criticized by Poland and State Museum after comparing the gift that keeps on giving, inoculation cards, to the Holocaust. A health pass by that Nazi officials required, among other documents, for citizens to carry with them and prove their identity during the Holocaust. And so it goes on to say, exploiting of a tragedy of all people during the 1933 through 1945 suffered, were humiliated, tortured, and murdered by the totalitarian regime of the Nazi Germany, in debate about the gift that keeps on giving cards and limitations in time of global pandemic and a sad symptom of moral and intellectual decay, the memorial and museum said. Okay, so what is your opinion on that? Feel that it is like that? Tell me in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts is on that. Okay. Now, this is a very disturbing article here and this one is coming from BBC, and it's really disturbing. In this article, a father in Canada who hasn't been with the gift of keep on giving inoculations, loses his rights to his child. Now that's sad. That's really, really sad. Let's go. BBC News. A Canadian father who has not been received the inoculation of the gift that keeps on giving has temporarily lost his rights to see his 12-year-old child. A judge in the province of Quebec ruled his visits would not be in the child's best interest. Okay, in the child's best interest. It followed a request by the father to extend his visiting time during the holidays. The judgment is the first depriving a parent of access rights on immunization grounds. A family law expert told La Devoir newspaper. So this is very sad that this father who wants to have access to his child and to really have that relationship with his child is now denied, especially in a time where there are so many parents, both fathers and mothers, that are not within the child's life. But again, tell me what your thoughts are on that subject. Yes, yes, yes. Good morning. Good morning, Apostle Carmina. Thank you. Yes, it is the gift that keeps on giving. That's my new name for it. It is the gift that keeps on giving. Nobody asked for it, but it was given. All righty, then. We have more articles to get to, just a few more before we get to this. Now, on November 3rd, we reported on the Biden administration wanting to know your vaccine status. What I'm going to do is put the link to the video that we did on December 3rd informing you of this. So now we have a very interesting, well, it is what it is. It's very disturbing article regarding your rights, your private rights, and your medical health issues. Okay, this is from CBN News. While warns, okay, article disappeared. The Biden administration Americans who are religious. Now, as I stated, there was the bill passed, HR 550, and we did a video regarding HR 50 on December 3rd, 2021, where they passed the bill to be able to get your rights to your ministry regarding the gift that keeps on giving inoculation status. So this article goes on to say, in a move that could be likened unto a George Orwell's novel 1984, a small, obscure federal agency issued a public notice Tuesday about a new policy that could mean that the U.S. government is preparing to assemble a database containing the names of Americans who claim religious exemption against the gift that keeps on giving. The Daily Signal, a news publication of the Heritage Foundation, reports it's happening at the Pretrial Services Agency for the District of Columbia. The PSA states on its website that it is a federal agency's responsible for gathering information about newly arrested defendants and preparing the recommendations considered by the courts in deciding release options. What does that have to do with these federal agencies? These are people that's not voted into power, and they are extending their authority, and we will see that with OSHA later on, that, this is really dangerous. This is dangerous territory. Let's keep reading. The agency announced the creation of the new record system that will store the names and personal religious information of all employees who make religious accommodation requests for a religious exemption from the federally mandated gift that keeps on giving. The notice published in the Federal Register says the agency will create a employee religious exemption request information system. Now, we need to get on this, people. You need to contact your congressmen, your senators, and let them know whether you've had, asked for a religious exemption or not. This is totally illegal and unconstitutional for them to be keeping this type of information. They have no business knowing what your status is. They have absolutely no business knowing whether or not you've requested a religious exemption or not. Let's continue reading. The notice reads, this system, let's see, wait a second. The notice reads, this system records, maintains personal religious information collected in response to religious accommodation requests for religious exemptions from the federally mandated the gift that keeps on giving requirement in context of the public health emergency or similar health and safety incident, such as a pandemic, epidemic, natural disaster, or national or regional emergency, and or any other lawful collection of employee information or data that is necessary to ensure a safe and healthy environment for individuals who are occupying PSA facilities, attending PSA sponsored events, or otherwise engaged in official business on behalf of the agency. Well, that's just a few Americans. So you are going to collect this data. So let's say it's even 1,000 or 100,000 people, and you think of the millions of people or the number of people that have requested this that will not fall within this guideline yet, and still you will still have data on everyone in the United States that has asked for the religious exemption. This is wrong. Again, contact your elected representatives to put a stop to this. Writing for the Daily Signal, Sarah Purcell Perry, and what? Okay, I'm not even going to say it. I'm just the last name, Canaparo, noted the publication did not explain why the agency needs to create such a list, except to say that it will, quote unquote, assist the agency in collecting, storing, dissemination, and disposal of employee religious exemption request information collected and maintained by the agency. So in other words, they said nothing. We just want to get all up in your business. That's, in other words, the authors point out, the list will help the agency make a list. Really? So really, they're saying nothing. What's going on with this announcement at this tiny agency? Question. Likely, the Biden administration is using it to stealth test a policy it intends to roll out across the whole government, Perry and Canaparo warned. The Washington Times reports other federal departments appear to be prepping similar lists of religious objectors, including the following: the Treasury Department, Interior, Housing and Urban Development, Health and Human Services, and Transportation, as well as the General Services Administration and Securities and Exchange Commission. In their Daily Signal, article, Perry and Caponaro said this is a ongoing hostility to religious freedom, citing a few examples to bolster their argument. From the onset of his administration, Biden voiced support for passage of the patently faith-hostile Equality Act, a bill that would gut the Religious Freedom Restoration Act entirely when it intersects with LGBTQ plus protections and entitlements in public accommodations, he wrote. The president also swiftly revoked the Mexico City policy that had been reinstated by former President Donald Trump, thereby assuring that religious Americans would be forced to fund abortions overseas by way of their tax dollars, despite their religious objections to the act. Perry and Canaparo continued. So that there is a effort to get a list for if you've filed for religious exemption, and it's not just for this particular agency. As stated, it is with several agencies throughout the government. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link to this article so you can reread it in detail and find out exactly what is going on here and how you need to reach out to your elected officials and to reach out to your elected officials. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the article from that states about HR 550 being passed, and that's the bill that would get your medical health records. There is a very disturbing trend that's going on here with the collection of data of this administration, and we encourage you to really begin to speak out about it because these are your rights, and it's very, very disturbing that this has come to this right now. So these are two articles that I'm pasting in here, along with, if you want to go back and review the video that we did regarding on December 3rd, regarding the HR 550 passage. Okay. Also, what I'm putting several things in the chat right now, so I'm going a little fast. Okay, so now we also see, and we're going to get to our main topic very, very soon. We also see that Nike has issued a letter to their employees that are going to, this weekend, they are going to dismiss those that have not received inoculation, the gift that keeps on giving. Now, how is our article story today, and that is one of court changing, blocking things. As I discussed this later, you'll find private companies different guidelines, but we will these will be turned not whether they will be the people of Supreme Court or whether they will be change their mind. Okay, this is come from Front Office Sports. This is their Twitter feed. Nike will begin firing the gift that keeps on giving employees that did not take the gift this weekend per Oregon. The company has had the mandate in place since October and will reportedly terminate employees for those without an exemption Saturday. So we're going to need to really keep a close eye on this story and see whether he terminated their employees. They continue with this post and state, an email to Nike employee last week per Oregon states, in quotations, I quote, "You failed to complete the verification process and our records show that you do not have an exemption. As a result, you are not in compliance with our policy and your employment is scheduled to be terminated on January 15th, which so what we'll begin to see is whether or not the Nike will decide to just whether or not they're going to fire their employees or not. So this is going to be very interesting to see. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. Also, Citigroup, and if you are part of Nike and you love their product, it is what it is. Continue to buy them. Do what you need to do. But I feel for the people that work for Nike. But that's it. If that's their company policy, if they are keeping within their company policy, we're going to see whether or not that happens. So also we have Citigroup pretty much doing the same thing. If you bank with Citigroup, you will see that Citigroup is doing the same thing. It is right. Citigroup is demanding that workers
placed on unpaid fired at the end of the month unless a source told CBS Money Watch, complying with the required admitting proof of vaccination by the January 14th deadline, receiving an approved court-ordered exemption. Back in October, the company was the first major union to require vaccination as a condition. It is now the first major
employees who refuse to get vaccinated. And the source confirmed more than 90% of 60s, roughly 65,000 U.S. employees have already been vaccinated. Citigroup is demanding that workers get vaccinated or risk losing their jobs. According to a memo sent to staff, employees will be placed on unpaid leave on Friday and fired at the end of the month unless they are granted a medical or religious exemption. A source told CBS Money Watch, complying with the requirement, submitting proof of vaccination by the January 14th deadline, or receiving an approved medical or religious accommodation.
All righty then. So what the group does and how that will impact their employees, whether or not you are going to be, you continue to bank with them. If they do, if they dismiss employees, that's up to you. The same way as with Nike. And so now, there's a lot, like I stated, there's a lot of things going on regarding this. And so we have the Supreme Court of the United States just made a ruling yesterday afternoon. And so we're going to get to that now. So how this ruling impacts and affects everyone is to be determined. One thing, there's a lot of joy and everything about this, that the Supreme Court halted it. But you remember that a private company, does not have to abide by this. They can still keep their company policy in effect without violating the Supreme Court ruling. you can now for companies that the policy, then this is a good thing. They can and do as they wish. Those companies that are comfortable with this, they are definitely going probably keep the company policy. Okay, I see there is a me being frozen here. See, this is the thing. When we start reporting in the news, the company are streams and everything. But one thing about this is that I am happy that we have our platform that to go to on Roku and SAVEDnews on Roku and Amazon Fire, because you get able to get content. What it is streamed down. This is nothing new. They always do it. But like I stated earlier, we have a new platform that will be rolling. And hey, it is what it is. Nobody got time for the crazy. What it is. So, let's get it. The Supreme Court called on giving rules businesses. The United States Supreme Court stopped at a major push by the Biden to goods the gift that keeps on giving rate, that employees get the gift that keeps on giving, inoculate or wear a mask at the same time. To proceed for most healthcare workers, ordered Thursday came during a spike of the gift that keeps on giving cases. The court's conservative majority concluded the administration overstepped its authority by seeking to impose the Occupational Safety and Health Administration's gift that keeps on giving or rule. United States businesses with at least 100 employees, more than 80 million people who would have been affected, and OSHA had estimated that the rule would save 5,500 lives, 250,000 hospitalizations over 6 months. OSHA has never before imposed such a mandate, nor has Congress. Indeed, although Congress has significant legislation addressing the giving pandemic, it has declined to enact any measure similar to what has promulgated here. The conservatives wrote in the unsigned. This is the Supreme Court just wrote that. In the Supreme Court justice verified in this article, 3 liberals that it was the court that was overreached, substituting its judgment that of a health experts, acting outside its compliances without legal basis. The court displaces the judgments of the government officials given the responsibility to respond to health emergencies. Justices Stephen Breyer, Elena Kagan, and Sona Sotomayor wrote in the joint dissent. President Biden, he was disappointed that the Supreme Court has chosen to block common sense life-saving requirements requirements. Employees at large business are grounded squarely in both science and the law. Biden has called on businesses to own the gift that keeps on giving requirements that a third of Fortune 100 companies already have. But also, take a pause here from this article, is that even though they have placed these policies in effect, they can now reverse these policies out totally. The private businesses now have this either enact this policy or they have the option to retract this policy. So let's keep reading. After crafting, the White House officials always anticipated legal challenges. Some harbored that it would withstand them. The action, nevertheless, still views the rule says at already driving millions of people to get the gift that keeps on giving and encouraging private businesses to implement their own requirements that are affected by legal. The OSHA regulation actually been blocked by a federal appeals court in New Orleans, then allowed to take effect by the federal appellate panel in Cincinnati. Both rules have been challenged. In addition, business groups at OSHA emergency regulation as too and to cause workers leave their jobs finding new employees are very difficult. The National Retail Federation, the nation's largest trade group, called the Supreme Court decision a significant victory for employers, giving mandate the court will allow to be forced by a 5-4 vote, with Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Brett Kavanaugh warning the liberals to form a majority. That don't sound right. The mandate covers virtually all healthcare workers in the country applying to providers receive federal Medicare and Medicaid funding. It affects 10.4 million workers at 76,000 healthcare facilities, as well as home healthcare providers. The rule has and religious exemption. Biden said that decision of the court will save lives. In a wrote, the risks posed by a global pandemic do not allow a federal agency to exercise power that Congress has not conferred upon it. At the same time, unprecedented circumstances provide no grounds for limiting the exercise the agency has been launched. It said the latter principle governs in the health arena. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote in the dissent that the case was about whether the authority to force health workers by coercing their employers to undergo a medical procedure they do not want and cannot undo. He said the administration hadn't shown convincingly that Congress gave it that authority. Excuse me. Justice Samuel Alito and Amy Coney Barrett signed on to Thomas's opinion. Alito wrote a separate dissent that conservatives also joined in. Decisions by the Federal Appeals Court in New Orleans and Louis had blocked the mandate in about half the states. The administration already was taking steps elsewhere. More than 108 million Americans, 62.7% of the population, inoculated, and more than a third of those have received the booster, according to Federal Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Justices gotten the booster. The courthouse remained closed to the public, and lawyers and reporters are asked for negative results before being allowed inside the courtroom for arguments. Though the gifts that keep on giving inoculations are not required. The justices heard arguments on the challenges last week. Their question then hinted at a split verdict that they issued Thursday. A separate gift that keeps on giving mandate for federal contractors on hold after the courts blocked it has not been considered by the Supreme. This all comes from the Associated Press, and writer Zeke Miller is the one that wrote this article. It is, been reported. Doug. I know it's choppy because see, when I start reporting news like this, the powers that be, they either block or they freeze frame me. So like now, I'm freeze framed. Okay, see, I'm moving again. So this is why, my sound and everything, because see, I have a professional mic. It is the blue mic. This is totally professional. So there's no reason for my sound to sound choppy. It's just them, doing this. And it's not just me that they do this too. So that's why I tell you all to watch Save News TV on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. So you go over there and you can get everything in there. And I appreciate you letting me know because that's why, have my phone and I look at this. I'm plugged into Wi-Fi, got high-speed internet, and my phones are not on Wi-Fi. So there's absolutely no reason for me to be choppy or me to be freeze frame. This has all to do with control and trying to censor. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And so, but anyway, everybody, I really appreciate you all today. I got through this news a little bit faster than what I thought. Remember to go over to Save News, listen to SAVEDnewsRadio.com, and you can go over to Amazon Fire TV and Roku and watch us live there. So anyway, thank you so much for inviting us into your homes. You have a very blessed and prosperous day, and may the Lord bless you all over times, over 1,000 times over. Thank you so much. God bless. Getting bored? Want to enjoy some relaxing music? Do you need to get updated with all the latest news, but don't have enough time to watch TV for hours? Or do you need to get your praise and worship on? We have your solution to your problem. SaveNewsRadio.com got everything you need. Listen to SaveNewsRadio.com, filled with praise and worship 24/7, everywhere, in your home, laptop, or tablet, on your phone, in your car, and on Alexa. Install the Save News Radio skill on Alexa and then just say, Alexa, launch Save News Radio. The beautiful, uplifting sounds of praise and worship music, ministries, news, and more. SaveNewsRadio.com, created to glorify God and edify the body of Christ. Well, Doug, thank you. I know that, but I don't have a lot of tabs open. I just have my streaming tab open, and I had the article tag open. Trust and believe. We've been trying to be censored so much, but we do what we do. Oh, thank you so much, Doug. God bless you. May the Lord bless you 1,000-fold. You and your family. It will be returned to you immediately. Thank you so much for the super chat. So anyway, everybody, I like, share, and subscribe. And we appreciate you so much for allowing us into your home. You all have a very blessed and prosperous day. God bless. Bye.